Hello gorgeous people, this is Paritosh and welcome to AWS tutorial, and this is my 17th video. So today we will discuss about volume with Linux server. So before starting hands-on, I want to show you few of the Linux command that I am going to use in this video. So first is sudo su. It will switch to the root user, and root user has the root permission to change anything. So here su means switch user. The second command is lsplk. This will show the number of volume attached with the partition. And then cd space /. This will take us to the root directory. Then mkdir, which we also call at make directory. It will create a new directory, and directory is just a folder in the Linux, if you want to understand it simply. And then we have ls command. This is just to list all the objects. Then file space -s. This will check if the volume has any data inside it or not. Then mkfs, or also called as make file system. This will help us to create a file system in Linux. And then to mount the volume we use mount command, and to unmount it we use umount. And then for this tutorial I am going to use Nano as a text editor. If you have any other text editor you can use it, or you can just follow the instruction in this video. So apart from this, we also need to use putty and putty keygen. So guys, if you have yet not downloaded the putty and putty keygen, I would request you to please go to the link, and this is the link where you can find and download the putty and putty keygen. So in this way you can also understand how to access or SSH into the Linux server from your Windows system by using putty. Once we create the instances in AWS, it generates the key pair in .pem format, and Windows machine don't use .pem file, so we have to convert it from .pem to .ppk file, which is done by the putty keygen. And to SSH to the Linux server, we use putty from the Windows system. So please guys, go to this link and download putty and putty keygen. Once you download the putty and putty keygen, you can see these two guys between these two planets, or I think one is moon, I don't know. So this kind of icon will appear. So the putty keygen will help you to convert your .pem file to .ppk, and putty will help you to SSH into the Linux server from your Windows machine. So once downloaded, please open your AWS management console, and in compute option please click on EC2. So guys, right now we are going to create a EC2 instance for the Linux, and I have deleted every running instance and key pair and security group that I have created before. So I will have to create everything again, but if you have your old key pairs and security group, you can use them. So I will click on launch instance, and guys, please click on free tier only. This will avoid any extra charges even by mistake. And then click on Amazon Linux AMI, select, and we will keep everything as default, so the T2 micro, and we click on config instance details. We keep everything as default. Click on add storage, and guys, see, this is the volume, which is the root volume, and the device path is /dev/xvda, and the size is 8 GB, which will be attached as a root volume with to our instance. And then we click on add tags. Here we will add tag. So key, we write name, and value we give my instance. You can give anything that you like. I am giving it my instance. And then we click on configure security group. Here as we have to SSH into the Linux server, so we need to keep our SSH port open. So the SSH port is port 22, so I am creating a new security group. The default name is launch wizard 1, where the SSH port is open. And then we click on review and launch, and then we click on launch. Here I am going to create a new key pair, and I will give it name as my key. and click on download key pair. See guys, this is in the form in .pem format, and our Windows will not be able to use .pem format file, so we have to convert it into the .ppk. Now we click on launch instance. So our Linux instance is now launching. We click on view instance. So here we can see that our my instance, the new instance is being initialized and it's in pending status. So in the meantime, let's go and change our .pem file into .ppk. So we double click on putty keygen and we click on load. Here we have to select our .pem file, but it is not showing anything because it's only displaying .ppk file. We have to change the settings to all files, and now it's showing my keep.pem. We select it and we click on open. It says it's successfully imported. Here we can also give a passphrase for the extra protection, if we want to encrypt our key. But for this video we will not do that. We will directly click on save private key. It will ask to move without the passphrase. We click on yes, and it will ask us the key name which we want to save. Let's type my key pair and we click on save and we close this. Now if we will go back to our instance, let's check. So the status check is initializing, but our instance is running. So to SSH into our instance, we need the public IP address of this instance. So just select the public IP address and right click on it and copy it, and now we have to go and use this putty. Here we have to type the username, which is EC2-user, and then @ we paste the IP address, and we have to click on this plus icon just before SSH and click on auth. Here we have to define our .ppk file. We click on it, we click on open, and then we click on open. It's giving us the final message. We click on yes, and here we go. We have now SSH into our Linux server, but it seems that the font size is very small. It's very hard to see, so we close it again, and we will open it with the bigger font size. So we type EC2 user again as before @ so this EC2 user is the default username for the Linux. Like if you have created a Ubuntu server, the username can be Ubuntu. So for this Linux server, the username is EC2 user, and here we can click on appearance and can change the font size by clicking on change. Let's click on 14, click on OK, again click on this plus sign before SSH, click on auth, and then click on browse. Here we select our .ppk key pair file. We click on open, we click on open. Okay, so now it seems the view is good, font size is also large. So we will switch to our root user. For that we have to type sudo su and we click enter. So guys, if we don't get any error after typing the command, that means the command that we have run is successful. So right now we can check that EC2 user is changed to the root. Now we have the root level permission. We can change anything that we want. Now if we will type lsblk and press enter, it will show all the volumes that is attached with this server. So right now only one root volume is attached, which is of 8 GB. So it is showing only one root volume. We quickly go to our console page and we create a new volume. We click on volume, and here we can see that this is the volume, this is the root volume that is attached to the instance. We click on create volume. So we can create a volume of any of the volume type, but the main point to remember is that we need to create the volume in the same availability zone as of our instance. so that we can attach it to the same instance. So our instance was in AP South 1A, so I will create the volume in the same availability zone. Please try to create your volume in the same availability zone in which your instance is. So I will keep everything as a default, but we'll try to add a tag. So I will give it name, and here I will say volume 1. I click on create volume, click on close. We refresh this page, and now it will show our new volume. This volume is the root volume, my instance, and this is the new volume 1 that we have just created. It's now available. It is not attached to any of the servers, so we will quickly go and attach this volume with our Linux server. We select here the instance and then we click on attach. Okay, now this volume is being attached with our Linux server, and the status is changed to in use. So we will quickly go to our terminal, and if we will type here lsblk again and press enter, you can see that now we have two volumes, xvda and xvdf. The other volume is of 100 GB, and this is the root volume, which is 8 GB. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we will now create a new directory, and then we will mount this new volume to our new directory. Okay, so before doing this, we first have to format this new volume with a file system. So Linux have different file system like extension 4 and extension 3. We will use extension 4. But guys, before formatting any volume, it is a good practice to see if it contains any data or not, because if we will format it, we will lose all the data. So to check if our new volume has any data or not, we just need to type file -s and then path of our volume, which is dev xvdf, and if we click enter, it shows data. That means there is no any file present in this volume. If there is anything other than data reflecting here, that means this volume contains some of the files. Okay, so if it doesn't contains any files, so we can go on and can format this with any file system, and for that we type mkfs, which is make file system, and -t and then extension 4 ext4, and the path of our volume, which is dev/xvdf, and we click on enter. So it said done. Now we have formatted it with the file system, which is extension 4. Now we create a new directory. So first of all, we go to our home directory, and inside here we create a new directory. For that we have to type mkdir, which is make directory, and let's say we create the name love. Yeah, why not? This is a Valentine month, and love is everywhere, so why not here? So we click on enter. So guys, please check this. If we don't get any error, that means the command that we have run is successful. So we have already created the love directory. And directory, to understand the directory, it is simply a folder which is named as a directory inside the Linux. It acts just like a folder which we use in the Windows server. So we have created the directory love. Now we have to mount our volume to this directory. So for that we use mount, and then the path of our volume, which is dev xvdf, the name of the directory, and then we press enter. Again, there is no any error. That means we have successfully mounted our volume to our directory. Now we will go and create a new file inside the love. So first of all, we will cd into this directory, and here we create a file with the help of nano, and let's say the file name is crush. Everyone has crush, and this is the Valentine month, so it's good to remember our crush. So I create nano, and I create a crush.txt, press enter. here I type, let's say, you are beautiful. Okay, and to save and exit, press Ctrl X and then Y for yes, and then enter to exit. So guys, let's see it again. So I have created a new directory which is called love. I have attached a new volume here with our server, and then mount this volume to the new directory, and inside the new directory I have created a new file which is called crush.txt, and inside the file we have just save a few words like you are beautiful, everyone is beautiful. Now we will go back to our console, and here we will create a snapshot. Okay, so create the snapshot for the volume 1, and we give the name my snap. You can give any name you want. In description you can give anything. I gave snapshot and then click on create. So this will create a snapshot for this volume. Okay, so we have this snapshot, it's being created, status is pending. Now we will go back to the terminal and let's clear the screen, and let's ls into it. We can see that there are two folders. One is crush.txt which we have just created. Okay, so now we will unmount our volume from here. So we come out of this folder and then umount. For unmount, the command is umount, and then our path of our volume, which is xvdf dev xvdf, and then we press enter. Okay, so the volume is now unmounted from our directory. Now we go back to our volume option in the console and then click on the volume 1, and we will detach this volume. So we are now detaching our volume from our instance, and okay, it's done. We have now detached our volume from our instance. We will now go and delete this volume. We click on action and we click on delete volume. We click yes, delete, and now this volume is being deleted. So in the meantime, we go to the terminal again, and if we will go to our folder love again, and if we will try to ls into it, we can see that here we have, once we have ls into it, we have the crush file, but now we have no any kind of file inside the love folder, sorry, love directory. And if we will come out of this directory and try to run lsplk, so again you can see that the other volume, as we have already unmounted, detached it and deleted it, so it's not showing the other volume. Okay, so it's all done. We again go to the console page, and okay, so this volume is being deleted. We again go to the snapshot, and here we create a new volume from the snapshot. So so here we can choose any of the volume type. Okay, but one thing guys, I want to show you. If we will try to change the volume size, it says the size of the volume can only be increased, not decreased. So once we try to create the volume from the snapshot, we can only increase the size, we cannot decrease its size, or we can keep it in the same size. So for now I'm trying to keep it with the same size, and I have to create the volume in the same availability zone as my instance. And then let's give it a tag. So for the key I type name, for the volume I type volume 2, and click on create volume, click on close, and if I go to the volume option again and try to refresh it, okay, so the volume 2 is already there, but it's showing available because it is not attached to any instance. We click on volume 2, we click on action, we click on attach volume, then we select here our instance and then click on attach. Okay, so volume is now attached with our instance. The status is changed to in use. We go to the terminal window again, and if we will type lsplk, so now again we have two volumes. Okay, so if we want to check if the new volume contains any file or not, then we can see it by typing file -s and the path of our volume, which is devxvdf, and if we click yes, enter, so here you can see that it's not showing any data. That means that this volume contains some files inside it. So we will not format this with any file system, because if we will format it, it will delete or remove all the data inside it. So we will directly mount it with our love directory. So we type mount, and then we type the volume address devxvdf, and then we type our directory name and click enter. Now you can see we don't get any error. That means our volume, the new volume that we have attached, is now mounted with the directory. Okay, and now if we will go to the directory and press enter, we are now inside the directory. Here we will ls into it, and we can find the crush file again, and if we will nano into this file, it will show you are beautiful. So guys, see, we have not lose our data. Even if when we unmount our volume, we have created a snapshot and we deleted the original volume, and from the snapshot we have created a new volume, attached that new volume to our instance, and we can get our data back. So this type of requirement happens when you have data, but you don't want to use it for a long period of time, but you want to keep or store your data. So what you do, you just store your data in your volume and then create a snapshot. So once you create the snapshot, it's a minimum priced storage service provided by the AWS. So you can keep your data in your snapshot, and the data is being stored in a very low cost environment. And once you need it, you can again convert your snapshot into the volume and attach to it to any of the server, and you can have your data back. Before closing this session, I want to discuss few of the exam questions related to volumes. So before closing this session, I want to discuss some of the exam tips on volume that you should keep in mind. The first is we can attach or detach volume when instance is running, and we can only use SSD type of volume as a root, so we cannot use HDD as a root volume. And to attach volume with instance, volume must be in the same availability zone as instance. So this is obvious, guys. You want to keep your volume as close to your server, and as availability zone are two distinct places, so it's not good to keep your volume in different availability zone and instance in other availability zone. So encrypted volumes will have encrypted snapshot, and unencrypted volume will have unencrypted snapshot that we cannot change. And before using volume, we need to format it with a file system, and the root volume from standard AMI is always unencrypted, and we cannot change these settings. So I think this is all for this video, guys, and if you like, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. You guys are really been great. Love you, and see you in the next video. Thank you.